Hey, what's up, guys? It's K-Dog's Kennel coming at you live on YouTube with my NFL Week 17 picks. Once upon a time, this was the last season, the last regular week of the last week of the regular season. I'll get wording right. But this year, first time in NFL history, we have a Week 18, which is going to be coming up next week. Last week, it didn't do too bad, 11-5 with the picks last week, brings our total up to 151, 86-1. Thank you, Pittsburgh and Detroit. I'm going to keep shouting that game out because that's the lone tie I have. Also on my other screen, those who don't know, I do have a 3-monitor setup in my office. I do have the playoff picture updated. We'll talk about that toward the end of the video because there's been a lot of shifting in the playoffs. But we'll get into that. So let's jump right in. No more Thursday night matchups anymore. Thursday night football is done for the year. All the games will be played on Sunday and Monday. Also, big Happy New Year coming up. Hard to believe we are just days away from the year 2022. Feels like just yesterday, 2021 was here, and now we're saying goodbye to it. But a couple of these games I overlooked. I went back, so these games are not going to be in any type of order or whatnot. So we're just going to jump right in. We're going to kick things off with the 7-8 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 9-6 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo got a huge win this past week over New England, and much to my not really my surprise, but Buffalo and New England split their head-to-heads. I just had it backwards. I figured each team would protect their home field, and it turned out being the opposite. New England won in Buffalo, Buffalo won in New England. But not really much of a surprise. Looking at the playoff picture, that win propelled Buffalo from the 7 seed to the 4 seed. So that was impressive, and they have the inside track now on clinching the AFC East. So interesting to see how that's going to play out. I do have Buffalo winning this game, but I think this could very well be a trap game for Buffalo. I think if Buffalo's not careful, they need to keep their foot on the gas, man, and they need to close out, these teams that aren't really going to make any kind of an impact in the playoffs. Atlanta's one of those teams. And while I also see on my channel, I actually see that the Boston Sports Report, I shout them out every single week, much like they do with me. They have their Week 17 picks up as well. I'm going to check that out after the video. Big shout out to the Boston Sports Report. They've been supporters of mine for quite a few weeks now. Whether it's my picks videos, they've even shared some of my gaming videos. Huge shout out to the Boston Sports Report. Great channel. You can check them out. They, in addition to week-to-week NFL predictions, they also predict NHL games and NBA games on a daily basis. I'm not sure if they do baseball games or not. I think baseball would be a hell of a lot harder than like some of the other sports. But massive shout out to the Boston Sports Report. Absolutely love those guys. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and thank you guys so much for all the support you give my channel. I really, really appreciate it. Going into the first game I actually had written down for the week is the 8-7 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 6-9 Washington football team. I've got the Eagles winning this game. I feel the Eagles are going to get into the playoffs as a very soft team. It's not that I think the Eagles are they're not a bad team, but they're not a good team. Some of these teams they're beating, they haven't been really impressive wins. I think Philly's going to be a one-and-done team. If they get in the playoffs, they're going to get knocked out, especially if they play a Green Bay, Dallas, Tampa Bay, or even like the Rams, any of like the top 4 seeds. I think Philadelphia is going to be out just that quick. Like I said, not saying they're bad. Washington, playing with a lot of, they have quite a few people on COVID, the COVID-19 list. A lot of teams do. COVID-19 is wrecking havoc on the NFL right now. A lot of players, some of these games, I think if, like, for example, we'll talk about Dallas later, but Dallas trounced the Washington football team like 50-something to 17. Not saying Dallas isn't good, but if it had Washington had some of their defensive players, not saying Dallas wouldn't have won that game either way, but I just don't think the drubbing would have been as bad had Washington had some of their defensive and offensive players on that field. I do like the Eagles, but like I said, I feel that Philadelphia is going to be a very, very soft playoff team. That's just the way I feel about it. Excuse me. Next up, the 8-7 Las Vegas Raiders taking on the 9-6 Indianapolis Colts. The Colts on Christmas Day did exactly what I predicted them to do, and that's beat Arizona. A very impressive win. Jonathan Taylor Colts running back, making a strong case to become the MVP this year. I think he's had a fantastic year. I think Indianapolis is going to have much success in this game as well as in the playoffs. I think the Colts are going to get in the playoffs. I think the Colts are I don't want to say a scary team, but they could be. They're getting on the right page. Jonathan Taylor, as long as you keep feeding that kid the rock, he's gonna execute plays, man. I got the Colts winning this game. Colts right now sitting at the number 5 seed, according to the screen that is on my center monitor here. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if they'll catch Tennessee for the division, but I think the Colts will do some damage in the playoffs. I think they're going to surprise. I think they'll pull an upset in the playoffs. I really do. We'll see how that goes. Next up, the 11-4 LA Rams taking on the Baltimore Ravens, the 8-7 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens have kind of fallen apart as of late. Not looking too good. The Rams, I'm not sure if this is in the description or not, but the Rams have clinched a playoff berth from the way it looks. They haven't clinched the division. They lead the NFC West, but they have not outright clinched the division yet. The Rams sitting as the 3 seed as we speak. The Rams are starting to cook, much like they did at the beginning of the year. They kind of floundered a little bit mid-season, but, I think a lot of teams floundered in the mid-season that are looking pretty good right now. But I do have the Rams. The Ravens, I don't even think are going to make the playoffs. I think the Ravens have shot themselves in the foot too many times. Against Pittsburgh, against Green Bay, the gutsy 2-point conversion plays that just didn't pan out. I credit Coach Harbaugh. I get he's trying to win those games against, perennial teams, but, you may have just kind of cost yourself a playoff spot in going for those respective wins, as opposed to kicking the extra point, sending the game to overtime. Who knows? Anything could have happened in overtime, but it is what it is. I don't think the Ravens are even going to be in the playoffs this year, but I do have the Rams winning. This game. Next up, I have the 11-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the 4-11 New York Jets. I'm not going to waste any time on this game. I think the Jets are going to get just absolutely trounced in this game. I think the Bucs could win this game by as much as 20 points. Tampa Bay is dealing with some injuries right now. Obviously, Chris Godwin out for the year with a torn ACL. Mike Evans has been dealing with a hamstring injury. He has also just landed on the COVID-19 list. Leonard Fournette out also with a hamstring injury. I think it's a hamstring. It's either a hamstring or a knee. For Leonard Fournette. Shaquille Barrett suffered a sprained MCL and ACL. He's probably going to be out for the regular season, but they'll have him back for the playoffs. I don't think Tampa gets that number 1 seed. I think Tampa Bay is very vulnerable right now, but I do think that the Buccaneers are a scary team come the playoffs. I think, especially Tom Brady starts getting, some of these guys back, like, the Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, gets Gronk more involved. I think that, much like last year, I think Tampa Bay has a hell of a shot to win the Super Bowl this year. Right now, Tampa Bay sits at number 4 as the number 4 seed. Excuse me. Based on the fact the Rams beat them earlier in the season. That's why the Rams, despite their tie record, LA has a head-to-head win over Tampa Bay. That's why they leapfrog them. So that being said, give me Tampa Bay all day over the Jets. I'm not even going to waste time on the Jets. Jets are a train wreck. Next up, 8-7 Miami Dolphins taking on the 10-5 Tennessee Titans. As much as I want to go for Miami, because Miami's racked up 7 straight wins, man, that's impressive. Miami was 1-7 at one point before this win streak started. That's impressive. I just think their luck's going to run out against the Titans at Tennessee. Miami is in control of their destiny. Miami now sneaks in as the 7th seed. Should Miami win these next 2, they control their own fate. They win, they're in. It's that simple. If they lose, could drop them out. And I think that's unfortunately where Miami is right now. Miami, is on the inside, but I don't think they're going to stay there. I really don't. I think the Titans are going to win this matchup. Titans, pardon me, as of right now are the number 1, the Titans are the number 2 seed right now behind Kansas City. Whether Derrick Henry comes back for the playoffs or not, that's yet to be determined. But I don't see Tennessee getting to the AFC title game this year. With Derrick Henry, maybe. But without Derrick Henry, definitely not. I think Tennessee's going to be out in the wild card round. We'll see how that plays out. I got Tennessee over Miami. Another game I literally am not going to waste any time with is the 2-13 Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the 9-6 New England Patriots. I've got the Patriots winning this game all freaking day. Jacksonville's an absolute dumpster fire. New England's going to be looking to punch somebody in the mouth after getting beat by Buffalo. New England was the 2 seed. That loss to Buffalo dropped them down to the number 6 seed. Simple things like that, guys, that can change your whole seeding, losing a divisional game. Buffalo now has the inside track. Buffalo goes up from 7 to 4. New England goes from 2 to 6, just based on that game. It's had New England won. I think New England might have clinched the AFC East with the win over Buffalo this past week, but New England's going to be just fine. I don't know if New England's going to win the division or not, but New England will be in the playoffs, and New England will cause some damage in the playoffs. That much is certain. But Jacksonville, I'm not even going to waste my breath on them. Like I said, better luck next year, Jacksonville. Next up, we have the 11-4 Kansas City Chiefs taking on the 9-6 Cincinnati Bengals, a.k.a. the Cardiac Cats, because since he's been in some good ones this year. The Bengals are a feel-good story. Bengals right now the number 3 seed in the AFC playoffs. They can clinch the AFC North. Let me say that one more time. The Cincinnati Bengals can clinch the AFC North with a win either this week or next week. I don't think they're going to beat Kansas City. Kansas City, I have the Chiefs winning this game. Kansas City clinched the AFC West this past week. Also, they hold down the number 1 seed in the AFC. Meaning obviously, the road to the Super Bowl will go through Arrowhead. I think Kansas City stays at number 1. I don't think anybody's going to knock them off that pedestal. And it wouldn't surprise me if Kansas City. I think the AFC title game is going to be Kansas City and New England. I've said that for the last probably 3 or 4 weeks. That's my projected NFC or AFC title game. But I like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. That's been a fantastic combo all year long. It'd be great to see Cincy in the playoffs. Like I said, Cincinnati's one of those laughingstock teams, but I don't think they're going to be a laughingstock so much anymore. But either way, it's been a hell of a season for Cincinnati. Bengals fans, you should be proud. You really should. Your future looks bright. Don't think they're going to do any damage this year, but like I said, Cincinnati, the future's bright in Cincinnati with this kid, Joe Burrow. I really like this Joe Burrow kid. Next up, I feel like I do one of these every week, or I have the what I call the Who Gives a Shit Bowl, or I Don't Give a Shit Bowl. This week's edition is going to be the 4-11 New York Giants taking on the 5-10 Chicago Bears. Both these teams. Oh, wait, never mind. I thought I put 11-4 Giants. I'm like, the Giants are not 11-4; they're 4-11. But I could really care less who wins this game. I do have Chicago winning this game. The Bears with a miracle play to beat Seattle. Again, don't know if it's a testament that Chicago is that good or if Seattle's just that bad this year. But I'm giving it to the Bears just because they're at home. Who knows? Don't really care about the game. We're just going to move right along. Next up, the 4-11 Houston Texans taking on the 8-7 San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are in the mix. They're in the hunt, if you will. They are the number 6 seed as we speak. I've got them beating the Texans. The Texans with a huge win over the LA Chargers. Holy crap. Actually, the Chargers we're going to be talking about next, but, the Chargers may have just fucked themselves out of the playoffs. But again, we'll talk about them here in the next game. I got the 49ers winning. The Texans have won a couple games this year by miracles. Not that the score shows it's a miracle win, but just, Texans are not a good team at all this year. They haven't been good all year, but they beat the shit out of the Chargers last week. But I do have the 49ers winning. The 49ers are at home. And quite frankly, I just feel San Francisco is a lot better than Houston. Give me San Francisco all day. Speaking of the Chargers, the 7-8 Denver Broncos taking on the 8-7 LA Chargers. I just mentioned the Chargers got punched in the mouth by the Houston Texans. That's a game LA should have won. End of story. And like I said, the Chargers might be on the outside looking in. As a matter of fact, the Chargers went from the 6th seed out of the playoff chase. They are now sitting at the 8th seed. So again, on the outside, I think the Chargers will sneak in, but I don't have a lot of faith in the LA Chargers right now, especially after that game against Houston. No excuse the Chargers lost that game. That's just the bottom line. I do have the Chargers beating the Broncos because I think the Broncos suck. No offense to any of my viewers in Denver or anyone that's a Broncos fan. You guys have just got to get some playmakers. I don't see them beating the Chargers. I think the Chargers need to get their heads out of their asses. That's part of the problem. But be that as it may. Next up, the 5-10 Carolina Panthers taking on the 7-8 New Orleans Saints. Ian Book, fourth string quarterback. Had I known that going into Monday night's game against Miami, I probably would have picked Miami. But with my work schedule, I usually do these videos early just so I can, I can keep consistency, and B, I can make sure they get uploaded before the end of the week. And why is my monitor shaking? But anywho, I look for Taysom Hill or somebody else back at quarterback for the Saints. I got the Saints winning this game at home. Like I said, I don't think Ian Book's going to be starting this game. Taysom Hill should be back for the Saints. And Carolina, they started 3-0. I called them early in the season, like week 4, week 5. I called them the softest team in the NFL because they might have been 3-0, but they sure as hell weren't a 3-0 team, and it's shown because now the Panthers are 5-10. Big difference there. Give me the Saints in that one. Next up, we have the 2-12-1 Detroit Lions taking on the 5-10 Seattle Seahawks. I got the Seahawks winning this game. Lions have been competitive. Don't get me wrong; they're not a 2-12-1 football team. There's been some games they should have won that they lost, but I'm not here to dispute that. But like I said, Detroit is not a 2-12-1 football team. They're better than their record shows. I don't see them getting the job done in Seattle. I got the Seahawks winning this game. Seahawks out. They will not be in the playoffs this year. There will be 3 teams in the NFC West in the playoffs, that being obviously Arizona, the Rams, and the 49ers. So it's very odd to see Seattle on the outside looking in. I don't think they have been eliminated. Yes, actually they have. The Jaguars, Lions, Texans, Giants, Jets, Seahawks, Bears, and Panthers all officially eliminated from playoff contention. I wasn't sure if Seattle was there yet, but they are. So, yeah, no playoffs for Russell Wilson. Very interesting to see what Russell Wilson does this offseason. But I have the Seahawks going over Detroit. Next 2 games, really, really big games, especially when it comes to the number 1 seed. Next up, we have the 10-5 Arizona Cardinals taking on the 11-4 Dallas Cowboys. A Cowboys win coupled with a Packers loss will put Dallas in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed. I have Dallas winning this game, but let me tell you guys, I am going to root for Arizona with every fiber of my being, and the reason I'll explain the reason why. Coming up in the next game, because we're going to talk about the Sunday night game coming up next. But the Cowboys, they're good. I don't think they're the best. Everybody's crowning them the best team in the NFL. Dallas is not the best team in the NFL. I'm sorry. The top 5, easy. Top 3, I'll give you that too. But best team in the NFL? No, they're not. Like I said, they put up 50-some-odd points. The Cowboys have actually, they've clinched the NFC East. So they sit now as the number 2 seed. The Cardinals, what a fall from grace they've had. At one point in time, believe it or not, the Cardinals were 7-0, guys. They got beat by Green Bay, and they've been like 3-5 in their last. They've been 3-5 over the last 8 weeks. That's a fall from grace. Arizona, they have clinched a playoff berth, so they were in the playoffs no matter what. But what once was a number 1 seed, they've dropped all the way down to number 5 in the last 3 weeks. Kind of shocking. But like I said, I think Dallas is going to win this game. I don't have any faith in Arizona anymore. I really don't. I think the Cardinals are going to be one and done in the playoffs. I think they're going to end up getting matched up with like Tampa Bay or LA. Boom, see ya. Shut the door. Bye-bye. But that leads into the Sunday night matchup, the 7-8 the 7-8 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 12-3 Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, they are the number 1 seed. They've been the number 1 seed for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Actually, maybe even longer than that. They've clinched the NFC North, and with a win coupled with a Dallas loss will clinch the number 1 seed for Green Bay. So no matter what happens in Week 18, Green Bay will be the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs with a win coupled with a Dallas loss. Like I said, should Dallas win and Green Bay lose, it flips. Green Bay will fall to number 2. Dallas will take number 1. And again, it comes back to, both teams would be 12-4. Why is that, K-Dog? Well, because Dallas has the better conference record. Dallas and Green Bay have not played head-to-head this year. But because of conference record, I think Dallas, Green Bay has 2 of their 3 losses have come to NFC foes. So Green Bay has 2 losses in the NFC. Dallas only has 1. So that's why those 2 teams would flip. It's a pivotal game, and I'm really glad to see Green Bay's playing the Sunday night game because they'll know before they take the field if, like I said, if Dallas wins, it should make Green Bay play a hell of a lot harder. The Vikings beat Green Bay earlier in Minnesota. I can't go against Green Bay in this game. The momentum is with them. I got the Packers winning this game. And like I said, should Arizona pull off an upset and beat Dallas, like I said, if Green Bay wins, if Dallas loses and they take that field Sunday night, they're going to be amped up. They're going to be ready to go, guys. And like I said, with the number 1 seed being able to get clinched, it's hard to say Green Bay that's not going to be a driving. My only concern with Green Bay is our run defense. We damn near got beat by the Browns. Baker Mayfield threw 4 interceptions, and yet Green Bay only won that game by 2 points. That's not good. That's not good. So we'll see what happens. Give me Green Bay in that game. Monday night matchup, we got the 7-8 Cleveland Browns taking on the 7-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Reluctantly, I've got the Browns winning this game. The Browns, with they're floundering as of late. They've tumbled out of the Browns won't be in the playoffs either. They should be. The Browns are good enough to be in the playoffs, but Steelers not even in the mix at all. They haven't mathematically been eliminated, but they're not even in the hunt. So give me the Browns all day in that. So quick recap: I've got Buffalo over Atlanta, Philadelphia over Washington, the Rams over Baltimore, Tampa Bay over the Jets, Tennessee over Miami, New England over Jacksonville, Kansas City over Cincinnati, Chicago over the Giants, San Francisco over Houston, Chargers over Denver, New Orleans over Carolina, Seattle over Detroit, Dallas over Arizona, Green Bay over Minnesota, and the Cleveland Browns over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, and I've also got Indianapolis over Las Vegas, so because I put that game at the end because I forgot to write it in. Playoff picture, I want to get this wrapped up. We're about 20 minutes in. I want to get this wrapped up. So in the playoff picture in the AFC, we've got 1 Kansas City, 2 Tennessee, 3 Cincinnati, 4 Buffalo, 5 Indianapolis, 6 New England, 7 Miami. And then you have the Chargers, Raiders, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and Broncos all in the midst. The only team I think out of that is going to be the Chargers that get in. I think the rest of them are done. In the NFC, we've got Green Bay 1, Dallas 2, Rams 3, Tampa Bay 4, Arizona 5, San Francisco 6, Philadelphia 7. And we also have the Vikings, Falcons, Saints, and the Washington football team. Should Washington lose, which I do feel they will, to Philadelphia, the Washington football team will be out come Monday morning. But yeah, so that's going to wrap this video up, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Happy New Year to every single one of you guys. And going to be a fun ride over these next couple weeks. I will be back about this time next week to do week 18. And then obviously playoffs, I'm going to be doing the wild card round by itself. Divisional round by itself, the 2 conference games, not doing the Pro Bowl. Fuck the Pro Bowl. I think the Pro Bowl is stupid. And then obviously we're going to go in depth and talk about Super Bowl 56 when that matchup is done. So that being said, guys, I got to get off here, grab something to eat before I go to work this afternoon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.